Well, in a recent Times of Israel article, the Arab League chief has said that Netanyahu is using Saudi plan to dodge French push. And this is what the article says. It says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's recent interest in the Arab peace initiative stems from his desire to elude the current French peace drive, the Arab League chief said in an interview published Monday, claiming further that the Israeli leader is also motivated by eagerness to expand trade in the Middle East, not reaching an agreement with the Palestinians. He really doesn't want the Arab initiative. Its terms are well known. El-Baroudi said the Israeli leader only wants a way to enter the Gulf market to strengthen the economy, El-Baroudi charged. He won't change the text of the initiative. Why did Netanyahu wake up now? It's to get around the French efforts. Netanyahu has indicated in recent weeks that he would be open to negotiating peace with the Palestinians on the basis of an updated version of the 2002 Arab Plan. He said last week that the initiative includes positive elements that can help revive constructive negotiations with the Palestinians. Now, as we know, the French initiative concluded, or at least the beginning meeting for the French initiative concluded back on Friday, and there was a communique that was sent out that just happened to be a little less harsh than what the members of the Arab League had intended. Its general emphasis on the two-state solution was a compromise in which the U.S. and the EU tempered an effort by the Arab League for a statement more critical of Israeli policies, Western diplomats told the Israeli Daily Haaretz at the time. So I think everyone has figured out now that Mr. Netanyahu is doing nothing more than trying to dodge a much more powerful and stronger initiative in the French have put forth. And for some reason he feels that he will be able to dodge the French initiative by showing interest in the Saudi initiative. But it has become apparent to the Arab League that Israel is doing nothing more than using them to avoid this much, like I said, this much more powerful French initiative that could have the international community behind it. And with players such as the European Union and the United States standing fully behind it, I don't think that these two individual entities will put up with it much longer, and Israel will have to cave. And you know, that's basically what the Bible said anyway. I never really had much faith in the Arab initiative. You know, the Bible is pretty clear in Daniel 9:25 through 27 that those who sacked Jerusalem and burned the temple would be the ones who would ultimately get this peace accord confirmed. And frankly, I don't know how it's going to finally get done, but I do know this, that I would stick with what the Bible has to say, because ultimately that's what's going to turn out to be the truth. And you know, another interesting theory was brought to my attention in another article by the Times of Israel, that this peace with many may not be with the Palestinians, but it may be with the Arab world first, then with the Palestinians. And I kind of thought that was interesting. Let me read to you what it says. It says Netanyahu has repeated over and over in recent weeks and months that he sees possibilities for warming ties with various Arab states. And his foreign minister chief, Doer Gold, told the Times of Israel last week of the belief that such progress might in turn see Arab states pushing the Palestinians toward compromise. The conventional wisdom for the last few decades has been that a solution to the Palestinian issues will result in improved ties between Israel and the Arab world, said Gold. But there is a serious basis for thinking that actually the sequence is exactly the opposite, that by improving ties with the Arab states, we set the stage for a future breakthrough of the Palestinians. But the problem that they see in this article is that even though Israel has come out completely against the French initiative and gone in favor of the Saudi peace plan, that there were quite a few or a number of Arab nations who were involved in the French plan. And let me read this to you. It says, the French were the driving force behind Friday's Paris gathering, of course, but it was emphatically not a solo act. High-level officials were present at the conference from the EU, the UN, the U.S., and Arab states. Kerry was coordinating with Israel. Various participants at the summit issued statements, appeared at press conferences and brief reporters less formally. More importantly, the presence and prominent involvement of Arab states, Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, and most importantly, Saudi Arabia, underlined that the French-led efforts are not at odds with the Arab world's stance on normalization with Israel via the Arab Peace Initiative. The Saudi foreign minister made himself available to reporters covering the summit with the goal of talking up the Arab Peace Initiative as the essential route to Israeli-Arab peace. The Arab Peace Initiative is still on the table, he insisted in English to a group of reporters who stayed behind after the summit had concluded. The Arab Peace Initiative does not need changing or adjusting, he said, in apparent reference to Netanyahu's recent partial acceptance of the initiative and his call for its amendment to meet Israeli concerns. Criticizing the French and talking up the Arab proposal in a possible effort to dodge Paris, Netanyahu may need to grasp that the Saudi-drafted Arab League-backed initiative is at the core of the French efforts. What will Netanyahu do if the French envisioned conference by year's end is convened with a still more prominent Saudi presence and role? Will he seek to stay away and complain about international meddling? Or will he seize the opportunity for direct interaction with the Saudis and other Arab states that have no formal ties with Israel, upgrading the interaction that has already seen gold, and the former National Security Council chief share the stage with Saudi counterparts in recent months? Deeply concerned at the emboldening of Iran grappling with crisis from Syria to Yemen, the Saudis are leading a group of Arab states that might actually be as eager to normalize with Israel as Israel is with them. The Paris summit, far from being a complicating factor, could turn out to be the start of a process that facilitates the very Arab world first, Palestinians later, interaction that Gold was speaking about, if that is the Prime Minister decides to get on board. So it's very well that could be the case. I mean, the Arab League may be the first step in what will eventually be, in the future, the creation of a Palestinian state. So this peace with many may be an Arab first proposal that will last 7 years, and in the end, they will work toward normalizing relations with the Palestinian state and the creation of this state. So that very well may be what the 7 years is described in Daniel 9:27. But there's no doubt in my mind that it is the phasing in of relations between the Arab world and Israel that will include the Palestinian state. I believe it's still going to be an umbrella agreement. But initially, it very well may not be an agreement with the Palestinian state right off the bat. I simply don't rule out any of these theories. But again, well, the one thing that we still hasn't on the table, at least politically, is how in the world is the temple going to be rebuilt. Now, whether it's going to be rebuilt on this side of the tribulation or this side of the rapture or on the other side of the rapture is still yet to be seen. I have a number of people who have made comments that think that they believe fully that the Bible supports that it will be created during the tribulation period, early stages of it. Now, I don't know that that's actually biblical. I think it's more speculation than anything else. I would probably say we do know that the temple must be built by the midway point of the tribulation period. But as to the timing, when it will begin and be completed, no one really knows. It might be before the rapture. It may be during the time between the rapture and the tribulation period, or maybe in the early stages as part of some agreement. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be part of an agreement, but I wouldn't rule it out. But one thing is for sure, the last thing that Israel wants to see come to fruition is the French peace plan. And they certainly don't want the emphasis to remain on the French peace plan, because I believe that international pressure will be next, and then sanctions. But the one thing I worry about, and will really set the stage for what I believe will happen in the future, is if in fact the United States does not veto any resolutions that are out presently in the UN Security Council against Israel. If President Obama fails to veto, then I have to believe that he is moving full tilt right into the French initiative. And don't think for a second that the Arab world is not going to back the French initiative as well. Just because they have one on the table of their own, they'll take international pressure any day of the week. So that's what I definitely keep an eye on as going forward, because I believe ultimately that Israel is going to be pressured, and this agreement is going to be confirmed by that pressure. And if you don't know the Lord, today's the day of salvation. Don't put it off. 150,000 people die every single day. Don't let that happen to you. You simply don't know when you're going to die, but I can tell you right now, if you did, would you accept the Lord as Savior today? Well, let me tell you, you could die. So why don't you just go ahead and make that decision for Christ today. Start living for Him and let Him come into your life and control it. And as many of you know, I'm in the middle of a translation project. I'm adding a number of languages to my Tribulation Period Survival Guide in preparation for what I believe will be a soon coming Tribulation Period. So we're going to be adding 3 or 4 languages to the library of free Tribulation Period Survival Guides. And if you have been thinking about getting involved, I would recommend and encourage you to do so, because you know what? Wouldn't that be an awesome thing for you to be a part of something that will be here after you're gone in the rapture? You can leave a legacy behind of leading people to the Lord even while you're in heaven. So that's something you'd like to contribute to. Like I said, it costs about $500 a language to be translated. You can do so by going to PayPal and putting in my PayPal email number, which is Calvary Prophecy. I'm sorry, my mistake again. It's calvaryp@calvaryprophecy.com. And then put down the amount that you wish to donate. Like I said, if we could have 15 people give $100, that would be enough for 3 languages. Or 30 people give $50, that again would be enough for 3 languages. And certainly we've already got 3 different languages already, and they're free. And if you haven't given your lost friends and loved ones a copy thus far, I would recommend that you send them on a copy. You can download it, take it to a print shop, print it out. But you know what? It's cheaper if you just buy the paperback that's already put together that is available. It costs about $8, whereas going to a printer would cost you about $11, $12. And the paperback is professionally created and bound, so you can hand it right to your lost loved one, and that will give them all the information they're going to need if in fact they are left behind in the rapture. You know, the best thing about it is they could get saved before the rapture takes place by reading this book. So I'd recommend that you make this investment today. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.